Okay, good morning guys. So today we have an awesome video to show you. I just got my mum cuttings from King Mums, and so I'm going to show you what those look like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I got 8 of each variety, and I'll tell you which varieties I got. But to start with, I just kind of wanted to show you what they look like and how you pot them up. So this variety is called Apricot Alexis, and as you can see, it comes in kind of like a paper pot situation, but you can see those roots are doing just fine. They're not being hindered at all by that paper pot that's on there. They're actually called L pots, I believe. Anyway, so that's how they come, and then I just take these 4-inch pots and I just fill them with a potting soil, or you can even use just like a soil mix from outside that you use outside, and I just pop them down in there. I do put them a little bit further down than the top of this, the growth right here. So I plant them a little deeper than the top of that growth. And then I just make sure they stay watered and use a little bit of fertilizer. I use a seaweed fertilizer on mine once a week, nothing too strong, and they grow so fast. And the awesome thing about mums is you can take cuttings off of these before they go outside. So these are not supposed to go out until after your last frost, even though they can handle a frost. But you want to put them out probably May, I would say, for our area. And so I can take cuttings off of this until I put them out. So I will probably get, depending on the variety, because each variety does kind of its own thing, I can get 2 or 3 cuts off of each cutting for the season. So even though I think it's somewhere around like 300 mums this year, I only purchased half that, maybe even a little bit less than half of that, because they're expensive and I can take cuttings off of them, so I don't need to have 300 mums ordered in. I can order half or less and still be able to fill my bed with mums. So mums will bloom in the fall, maybe late summer, early fall. So I usually get blooms starting in October, which is kind of, on the scary side because we do get frost in October. So this year I'm probably going to use some frost cloth because I just can't get the varieties I love in the season that we have here in Zone 6B. So I'm going to tell you all the varieties that I purchased from King's Mums. When the others arrive, I'll share those with you as well. So I order mums from a couple different places. I'm just going to get my book so I know what I'm talking about here. This year I ordered mums from Goose Creek Gardens, 3 Porch Farm, and King's Mums. And I have in the past ordered from Clara Joyce, and I feel like they've all done pretty well. I've never had mums from one particular place that haven't done well, so I think you're pretty good going with any of those. And I know there are more places you can order mum cuttings from. So I'm just gonna let you know which varieties I ordered, and then if I have a picture I'm gonna show you. If it's new for me, I'll let you know. And so what you want to know about mums is that they prefer those low light situations, which is why they bloom in the fall. So it's not necessarily a temperature thing so much as it's a daylight hours thing. And so they want to be in full sun, but I have heard that you can use shade cloth for whatever reason, that kind of tricks them into believing the days are shorter than they are, and they will start blooming ahead of time, which if you have like an early frost, that's a good idea. You also want to make sure, like I cut mine back to about 1 foot, I want to say before the 1st of July, like the end of June is a good time to cut them back, because then they'll branch and you'll get more than one bloom off of them. And if you wait too long, they won't bloom before your first frost. So cutting them back does delay your first bloom off of these plants. So you want to keep that in mind. Like if you have, for me, I might actually start cutting them back mid-June just to make sure I get those blooms before our frost comes. So here are the varieties that I ordered this year. Crimson Tide, Seton's J'adore, Parenga, Daybreak, Gertrude, Moira, Kelvin Mandarin, Mocha, Seton's Coffee, River City, which is my all-time favorite. If you want to try one, try River City. Coca Hugiku, Jefferson Park, Coral Reef, Pink Fleece, and Blush Strokes. And those last two, Pink Fleece and Blush Strokes, are new for me this year, so I don't have any pictures of those. Because last year kind of got away from me, I may not have some of the pictures of those other varieties, but I did grow them. Chelsea, Apricot Alexis, Lavender Pixie, Oriental Night, Icicles, Wind Dancer, and Fort Vancouver. And out of those, Wind Dancer is brand new for me. So that's a lot of different varieties. I think in total I ordered 150, so that puts me exactly half of what I need. And I probably could have ordered less. You usually have to order like a minimum amount of each cutting. Some places will give them to you in as few as 3 cuttings, but most will go 4 or 5. So keep that in mind when you're ordering. So I'm gonna pot these up and then I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so I've got my sign. We're gonna start with Apricot Alexis, and I did put the date on there because it just kind of gives me an idea of how many cuttings I should be able to take off of that. And if you have a choice in when your cuttings arrive, you wanna make it as soon as possible in the spring so that you can take cuttings off of your cuttings. Okay, so I'm just putting my fingers in there, and because I haven't compacted this soil at all, I can just shove that right down in there and cover it so that its neck is above or below, sorry, that dirt line. And then I'm just gonna water from below. So this is just one of my trays that I use with the 72 cells. Now we're just putting these 4-inch pots in there, or 3, this might be 3-inch pots. Anyway, I'm just gonna put water in the bottom of that, and I'm gonna keep planting these. And with each new variety, this is why it's so important to have a method every time you work with your seed tray. Like I said, I work back to front, left to right. So I always know where my new variety is starting, and it's never confusing for me. I'm just gonna put the rest of these in here. It's important that you get your mums out as soon as they arrive, or as soon as you can. When these grow about 3-4 inches, that's when I'll take my next cutting off of these. Okay, so I should have 3 more. Yep, here they are. And I leave these tags on. I can't tell you how many times it's been helpful to me. If a tag goes missing outside, I've been able to find that plastic tag they put on, and it has really helped me figure out what things are. Okay, so that's 8 of these, and I ordered 8 of each. So we're gonna start the next variety in here. And these do not need to be covered with a plastic dome, or at least I never do. I think that might cause like fungus, mold problems if you did that. Okay. This next variety is called Chelsea. Just gonna get my old tags out from last year. They aren't pretty, but it doesn't matter. And I'm not putting the date on this one because the date goes on the front one right there. Okay, so Chelsea. And you can see this one has a little bit of yuckiness down here. I'm just gonna pull these off to try and give it a chance to not have that, whatever this is, fungus, mold, I don't know. And this one has a little bit too, and I think it's from being wet, because they're wetted down pretty good before they're shipped, I would imagine. Throw all that away. Okay, and that's all of that variety. Once I have all these planted in, I'm just gonna set them on the light system behind me on the bottom row because that has the most space between the lights and the plants. And the mice won't eat these, so they can be on that bottom shelf. Okay, and then I will have 2 extra spaces, so I'm going to go ahead and start a new variety because we don't waste space and we don't waste soil. And we're going to start this last 2 pots with Fort Vancouver. Okay. There we go. All right, so yeah, we're just gonna water. It's easy to water. Just pour up that, pull up one of the pots, pour water in, and then put it back. Okay. So that is about, like, I would say a 1/4 inch up the side here. And that's plenty. These don't need a ton of water. Okay, here are all the first round of the mums that I've ordered. These are from King's Mums. I've still got 2 orders coming. So as you can see in this last tray, sorry, the dog's in the way. Sadie, move. Sadie, move. Love you. Okay, in this last tray, I've got plenty of space for the next round. All in all, I'll probably end up doing like 10 of these trays, sorry. So this is 4, so I've got a lot more to do. So it's really important that you stay on top of your tasks as they come in, as your shipments arrive, you know, as things grow. You got to just stay on top of things, otherwise you get behind real fast.